Before I start today, I just wanted to say that Damar Hamlin did not deserve what happened to him on Monday night. He suffered cardiac arrest on the field after taking a hit to the chest by T. Higgins. T. Higgins shouldn't be blaming himself either. He did nothing wrong. It was just a routine play, and he ended up collapsing, which put him in that cardiac arrest state. But if you can, I did make a video about him previously, and I put a link to his GoFundMe page for his Chasing M's Foundation. Please donate anything you can to support him. To support him and his family. He's going through a rough time right now. He's currently in the ICU at University of Cincinnati Medical Center, and he's just I'm prayers up, man. Even though I'm not a big advocate for Christianity at all, just prayers up. Like, I just hope he's okay. Like, you know, this is when, I mean, the a human life is bigger than football, and that's why the Bengals and Bills did not resume play on Monday night, and they're not resuming play this week. I just wanted to get that out there before I started this prediction video. Just it's kind of hard, especially with everything going on with the Damar Hamlin situation. It's just devastating. I watched it happen, and it was scary. It was extremely scary, and I was in utter shock. And I thought it was a concussion at first, and then they diagnosed it to be a cardiac issue. But I just wanted to get that out there before I got started. But yeah, let's get through these predictions as best as I can. But let's just get on with it. So on Saturday, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going with the Chiefs. The Raiders would be 6-11. The Chiefs would go up to 14-3. Yeah. And we currently hold the number one seed. If, that Bills-Bengals game had proceeded, I don't know how our seeding would be, but we're currently holding the number one seed. So that's good. That's the good side of things. The Tennessee Titans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is Week 18 predictions, by the way. I'm going to go with the Jaguars. They would clinch the playoffs, and the Titans would be out at 7-10. The Jaguars would be 9-8. So I don't understand this 17 game thing. It just doesn't sit right with me at all. It never sat right with me. Like, 16 games, it's an even number. But, the NFL had to rake in some cash somehow. That time is inaccurate, by the way. That will be determined by Sunday. I don't know why it says 1 o'clock in the morning. Why would they play at 1 o'clock in the morning? I don't know. The Baltimore Ravens take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going with the Ravens. The Bengals would lose their streak. That would put them at 11-5 at the moment. And then eventually they'll have to play Buffalo. So, and then Baltimore would be 11-6. I think they would be the first. Technically, the Bengals would still have the division because by a half game. But, the The Ravens already clinched a playoff spot. I think they would be one of the wild cards. So I'm going with the Ravens. The Cleveland Browns take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers over the Browns. Not that I want the Steelers in the postseason. I just want Mike Tomlin to have his streak, his winning season streak, especially with, all the stuff that he's been going through as the Steelers head coach. And, especially with DeMar Hamlin, who was a Pittsburgh native. He went to the University of Pittsburgh, stayed close to home, and then he was drafted by the Bills. And the rest is history. But the Browns would be 7-10, and the Steelers would be 9-8. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Chicago Bears. I am going to go with the Vikings over the Bears. That would put the Bear. This would be the Bears' worst record in franchise history at 3-14. The Vikings would be 13-4. But it's all. There are a lot of teams that are fighting for that number one seed. Hopefully, we can see who gets it. The New England Patriots take on the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, they're not going to start DeMar Hamlin just because the whole thing. But they're currently 12-3. They haven't played their game against the Bengals. But eventually, maybe, I'm not sure what the NFL is going to do. We'll have to see in the next few weeks, in the next week or two, what goes on. But they're playing the Patriots. If the Patriots lose, they're out of the playoff picture. That would put them at 8-9. The Bills would be 13-3. That would still put the Chiefs at the number one seed. But the Bills still have to play Cincinnati at a later date. Just have to figure. The league has to figure out when that's going to happen. Just because that injury was scary. It's bigger than football. That's why they suspended the game. Because the safety of a human life is bigger than football. That's why they canceled the game. That's why they suspended the game. And hopefully they can resume it at some point in the next week or two. But yeah. But I am going with the Bills. That would put them at 13-3. They've already clinched the division, so I think they would get the number 2 seed here. The Bengals game is going to impact a lot of things, but but I am picking Buffalo to go. Patriots would be out of the playoff picture. That 7th seed is being fought by Miami, New England, and one other team. I just don't know which one. Miami, New England, and Pittsburgh. Those are the 3 teams that are fighting for that 7 seed. Alright, so this next game, the New York Jets take on the Miami Dolphins. I am going to go with the Dolphins over the Jets, even though they are probably going to start Skylar Thompson. The Jets would be 7-10, and the Dolphins would be 9-8. I think they would be in if they won, because New England would have lost. And either that or they're out because Pittsburgh wins. So it'll all be determined this weekend. The AFC 7 seed is probably going to go to Pittsburgh because Miami probably needs Pittsburgh to lose. Or if Pittsburgh wins and Miami also wins, I think Pittsburgh is out because they also need Miami to lose. So, all right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Atlanta Falcons. That would beat Tampa Bay. I think they would go 9-8. The Falcons would finish their season 6-11. Probably get a top draft pick. Just wait for the offseason, Falcons fans. Just wait for the offseason. But I am going with Tampa Bay over Atlanta. They've already clinched the NFC South and possibly the number 4 seed. The Carolina Panthers take on the New Orleans Saints. We have two teams that are playing for nothing, but I am going with the Saints over the Panthers. The Saints would be 8-9, and the Panthers would be 6-11. Finish their seasons. The Houston Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts. I am going with the Colts over the Texans. The Texans would clinch the number 1 pick, even though Chicago would have lost. That would put them at 3-14. The Texans would have less wins, so that would make them clinch the number 1 overall pick. I'm going with that would be 2-14-1, and the Colts would be 5-11-1 to finish off the year. Just a lot of teams playing for nothing right now, so, The San Francisco 49ers host the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know why I said that weird. The Cardinals take on the 49ers. Sorry about that. I am going with the 49ers over the Cardinals. That would put the Cardinals at 4-13. And the 49ers would be 13-4. Hopefully the Eagles win so that they can clinch the division and the number 1 seed. Yeah. But if Philadelphia loses, then one of these teams can clinch the number 1 seed. But I'm going with the 49ers going 13-4 to finish off the year, and the Cardinals going 4-13. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders. I am going with the Cowboys over the Commanders. They would be 13-4, and the Commanders would be 7-9-1. I don't know why they tied with the Giants at all. Actually, I don't know how they tied with the New York Giants, but it's just dumb luck, I guess. Should have lost that game. But anyways, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys over the Commanders. The Los Angeles Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. I am going with the Seahawks over the Rams. Logically, this would hurt Detroit. Detroit's playoff chances, and this would hurt Detroit's playoff chances more because they need Seattle to lose in order to get in. But if they win, it wouldn't matter because Seattle would have already won. So, but logistically, I'm going with the Seahawks going 9-8. We'll get to the last game here in a minute over the Rams. That would put them at 5-12, the worst reigning Super Bowl champion in NFL history. The New York Giants take on the Philadelphia Eagles. I am going with Philadelphia. They would clinch the number 1 seed. They would clinch the NFC East. That should have been the Cowboys would end up going 2nd place. Giants probably will get the number 6 seed in the NFC. So, because the 5th seed would probably be Dallas. So, but I am going with Philly over the Giants. That would put them at 14-3, and the Giants would be 9-7-1. They've already clinched a playoff spot. The Los Angeles Chargers take on the Denver Broncos. I'm going with the Chargers over the Broncos. The Chargers will be 11-6. They'll probably be a tie between the Ravens and the Chargers. But if the Ravens lose to the Bengals, then the Chargers would get a higher seed if they beat the Broncos. In terms of wild card, so, um, but I am going with the LA Chargers to go 11-6. The Broncos would be 4-13. They probably get. I mean, Seattle would get a really high draft pick, probably the third overall pick. So, yeah, pretty much tank, if at all possible. And the last game of the season, the Green Bay Packers host the Detroit Lions, and this would be here's the scenario for the number 7 seed. Green Bay needs to win and in. Detroit needs Seattle. Detroit needs a win and a Seattle loss in order to make it in, and Seattle needs Green Bay to lose. And a win in order for Detroit. That would put Detroit out of the playoffs. So I'm going with Green Bay. Green Bay winning in, that would put them at 9-8. The Lions 8-9 to finish off the year. And this is the end of the regular season of 2022. I've already picked the Bills over the Bengals, so I don't need to rediscuss that game. But I will be doing wild card predictions next week on Thursday, January 12th. So we'll see you guys then.